Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Scarbo here speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is the 27th of March. It is a Friday here in the States, and I want to take a look at now that we're in the middle of this pandemic. I want to look at a couple of places on the planet and see what is ahead for them. I think we'll go 2 weeks. We'll do a two week look ahead. See how everybody's coping. All right. Okay. I think the first country we're going to do is China. Mainly because it began in China. So we'll see how they're coping. I believe a couple of days ago they opened up the city of Wuhan, or that area of China. So things are, and I think they've only had 4 new cases or something like that in China, which is good because we're talking about how many billions of people. All right, let's see. China. Okay, so we have the Temperance card. And so there is a balancing occurring there. There's a healing occurring there. This, I believe, this whole pandemic situation is on a certain level a spiritual initiation of sorts for humanity. So this says to me that they are, it doesn't mean they're necessarily out of the woods. They still have to be very careful. They have to be very temperate in their actions. And they need to a certain extent, be very controlled. Let's see what's crossing that. Okay, so we have the Father of Swords crossing that. I think that the Father of Swords is Xi Ping, and I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, Xi. But he is a Gemini, I believe, and the Father of Swords is air. So there's a healing occurring, but the challenge for them is how much authority, how hard are they going to come down on their people? There needs to be a balance there. Let's see what's underneath it all. I think I'm going to do Hong Kong separately. Okay, we have the Nine of Cups. That is wish fulfillment. So at the bottom of this, of course they want their wishes fulfilled. Okay, so we have in the past we have the Six of Wands. This is victory, but at what cost? I guess we could say. So they have, to a certain extent, excuse me, been victorious over this. Okay, we have the Ace of Cups up top. So there's people are perhaps feeling for the first time in China in a while that they can breathe a little freer. They feel healing energy and such. And let's see the immediate. So this card says to me, this is the immediate future. Things are kind of settled, but there's still some places and some situations that can cause them distress. It's as if they're not out of the woods yet. Most of it has been done, but there's still some things lurking, and I think that's the thing that they need to be most careful of. How it is seen from the outside. We have the Five of Cups, so that's sorrow. From the outside of China, which would be the rest of us, of course, we have empathy and sympathy for those people who suffered in China. But now that we're going through it, perhaps we have more empathy and sympathy for those what went on in China. China is such a closed place, really, that what they were going through I think for most people outside of China, it was sort of a far off thing. It was, oh, that's like a Chinese thing, but viruses don't know borders. So, but now that we're sort of in the midst of it, we're like, oh boy, that must have been pretty bad. So I think it's brought up the sense of empathy. for the Chinese, and because now we too are going through the situation. The domestic situation, we have um, the Seven of Cups. I feel like we're not getting the whole story from China, which of course is not that unusual for China. As I said, it's a pretty closed place. And perhaps the people in China are not getting um, the whole story yet. So there's some illusion, some delusion, some things perhaps hidden still around China. Let's see, hopes and fears. Of course, the Ace of Swords. They're hoping that this is done. Like the thing about swords is that once an action is taken, all other actions fall away, right? It's the nature of the mental sword and the nature of the sword. So that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that this is done. Let's see the outcome for China. Okay, we get the Three of Cups. So that's a good it's a good outcome. People coming back together. People are starting to congregate again and such. Let's see if we can pull a major arcana. We have the Mother of Cups, so they do feel protected, and they have the Strength card. So that's really good. So China's looking good, although they do still have to be pretty careful. They still have to be pretty careful. Okay, so I'm going to do Hong Kong separately, only because I know it's part of China, but because of the political unrest, I want to see how that's going. I'm going to use another different deck for Hong Kong. Okay, oops. I'm using the Arcanum deck for Hong Kong. I think what I'll do is I'll do a number of these readings, but I'll keep them regional, right? So we have China, I'm going to do Hong Kong. I'm also going to do North Korea because the other day North Korea sort of popped in my head. So this is for Hong Kong. How's Hong Kong doing? Hong Kong with the pandemic. How's Hong Kong doing? Hey, Hong Kong. Okay, we have the Four of Pentacles. There's a sense of still isolation with this or holding on to what they value. So what this says to me is that they haven't really stepped back from wanting to sort of align with their democratic principles. They're still holding that very close to their chest. What's challenging that? Resources, okay? All of these countries, um, China, Hong Kong, America, all of them, there's going to be a scarcity to a certain extent of resources. Or if not a scarcity, there has to be some sort of reimagining of resources and reimagining of the economy. Um, and so that's a bit of a challenge um, to them. They may hold back some resources from Hong Kong. Let's see what's at the root of this. The World card. So there's an ending here. There's some sort of ending and new beginning with China. With Hong Kong, the other thing is that people are watching. People are watching, whether Ping knows that or not. Let's see what's in the past. Yeah, this is this is all the tumult that they were going through. So there's another indication of something has ended for Hong Kong.
but that was in the past. Let's see what's in the sky. Yeah, they're ready to fight. They're not giving up their fight. Well, that's nice. The nine of wands. In the immediate future for Hong Kong, all right, they're going to be looking outside of, I think, outside of China for help here. They're going to be looking for support. Now, whether or not they get that support, with the rest of the world in this sort of awful situation, um, but they also have a certain amount of knowledge of how to deal with this situation, and they have some experience with it, so they might actually have something to offer other people across the seas. So that's good. So there is this energy of commerce, or this give and take, or that's opening up, and it could even be with mainland China, right? It could even be sort of still holding their own while looking at, because I'm sure on a certain extent, and I might be wrong about this, they might not have been able to maybe do as well as they did without the help of the mainland, right? So there's a sort of a give and take here. There's a give and take here. But I know that Hong Kong is a very um, important like cog in the financial machine of China. So they both have something to offer each other. How it's seen from the outside. Okay, Queen of Cups. That's a healing card. Um, and good feelings towards Hong Kong from the rest of the world, I would say. Probably even more so than China, but good feelings. Their domestic situation. The Three of Cups. So this was in the outcome of the Chinese reading. And so there is this sense of celebration, but with all this water floating around in this card, it just makes me a little bit nervous. A little bit nervous. They still have to be careful. Uh, hopes and fears. Yeah, they're still um, they're still keeping an eye on Ping there. They don't trust them, and maybe even their own government. Outcome. Okay, so we have the Ace of Pentacles. So this is good. It's a new beginning for them, a new financial beginning. Um, for somehow this has helped them to sort of reestablish a little bit of autonomy and some uh, like sense of worth for themselves. Like, I wouldn't say they're rebuilding a society here, but they're rebuilding their sense of um, power, um, financial and resourcefulness. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. We get the Queen of Pentacles. This could be the mayor. I think she's a mayor. And then the Tower. Okay, so they're not. There's still some. There's still something, and it being okay. There's still something coming. It's not. They're not completely out of the woods, but because the Tower was next to that feminine card, um, and the Queen of Pentacles, this could be their ruler or their mayor. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a mayor or a governor or what it is, but the woman who is in charge of Hong Kong, she may be in danger here from the powers that be within China and a new start. So there's still shock and awe coming for Hong Kong, but underneath it all is just a new. It's like a whole new way of. So what these cards look like is there's just starting to emerge. It's very possible that Ping could come down really hard on them. It's possible, but I don't know for sure. But whatever it is, ultimately underneath it all is a new beginning and a new way of relating to the world. So, all right. So that was China and Hong Kong. We're going to leave it there, and I'm going to do a couple more countries in that area, and I'll just move across the globe. All right, guys. I'll be back. Take care.